Mike McDaniel. The name alone stirs up more questions than answers for Dolphins fans, clinging to every sign, every signal that maybe, just maybe, this is the guy who finally cracks the code. The NFL doesn't hand out Super Bowls for good intentions or flashy offensive numbers. It demands something far messier, something McDaniel is still trying to prove he can summon when everything is on the line. There's this electricity McDaniel brings, though. It's not the loud, chest-thumping bravado that some coaches use to stamp their authority. No, McDaniel's innovation runs deeper, stitched into the seams of the offense, hidden in plain sight, waiting for that split-second advantage to break the dam wide open. When the Dolphins hired him in 2022, plenty of people rolled their eyes. Another offensive genius? Another promise of revolution that would probably wilt under the pressure of real NFL Sundays? But then came the motion. Not the old school, let's shift one step this way kind of thing. What McDaniel did was so much more alive than that. Receivers not just moving but accelerating, flying before the ball ever touches Tua's hands. Tyreek Hill wasn't just fast, he was devastating. Jalen Waddle, Devon Achane, even Jonnu Smith found themselves slipping into this chaos engine that defenses couldn't quite figure out how to stop. It wasn't cute. It wasn't gimmicky. It was ruthless. Still, does that trickery survive when the Real storms come? When it's 4th and 2, season on the line, and every defender knows the Dolphins have to throw. McDaniel's offense hums when it can dance. But what happens when it's forced to crawl? Leadership is another piece of the riddle. Some coaches break players down and rebuild them in their own image. Brian Flores tried that, and it burned. Players don't forget how a coach makes them feel, even after the cleats come off. McDaniel doesn't build that way. His leadership isn't forged by intimidation, but by something rarer, authenticity, genuine care. That's not just a buzzword thrown around to sound good on press releases. It's real. Of course, that doesn't mean it's always sunshine. Take the weird tension with Jalen Ramsey. When asked at the draft about Ramsey, McDaniel sidestepped so awkwardly you could almost hear the tires screeching. That wasn't an accident. That was McDaniel choosing silence rather than a fake answer. And maybe that says more than if he had spoken. Maybe it hints at cracks behind the scenes that no cute locker room speech can totally plaster over. But when you look past the occasional dodge or the press conference soundbites, there's a leader players seem willing to follow into the fire. Remember the 49ers game? The raw adrenaline in McDaniel's voice after that one wasn't polished or scripted. It was a man living a moment he knew could slip away if he didn't seize it. And Ross handing him that game ball? That wasn't just about one win. That was a moment of belief. One owner telling his coach, I see you. Yet football doesn't care about moments. It cares about seasons, about decades of scars. McDaniel's record so far? 28-23, not breathtaking, not terrible. It sits there in the middle, challenging you to interpret it however you want. You could say, hey, not bad for a guy weathering the injury storms, the brutal schedules, the weight of history on his back. Or you could say, good coaches find ways to win anyway. The 2025 season looms like a thundercloud. The schedule, nasty. Jaden Daniels and the Commanders bringing a spark. The Ravens with their cold, mechanical machine of a defense. The Bills, who seem genetically programmed to ruin Miami's dreams. The Chargers, who can light up the scoreboard when they feel like it. And lurking in the shadows? The Steelers, always there, always punching you in the mouth when you least expect it. Is this a gauntlet too heavy for McDaniel? Or is it the perfect forge to sharpen him into something deadlier than anyone expects? Because the truth? This could go either way. McDaniel could rise, battle-scarred but unbeaten, staking his flag into the heart of the NFL. Or he could stumble, dragged down by the same gravitational pull that swallowed countless Dolphin seasons before him. There's a darker thought lingering too, the one that no one likes to say out loud, but can't quite silence. Stephen Ross. Ross's history with coaches isn't just bad, it's catastrophic. Since 2012, it's been a carousel of shattered promises and fired dreams. McDaniel survived 3 seasons, sure, but survival isn't success. Not in Miami. Not anymore. Make the playoffs. Win a game. That's the bare minimum now. A home playoff win at Hard Rock Stadium would feel like reclaiming something that's been lost for far too long. Anything less, and the whispers will grow louder. Maybe they already have.